Guys, how's it going? Go Sir Rich here today, and if you guys seen, I swapped the front brakes. Today we're going to be doing the rears. Pretty easy. If you have a manual parking brake, just make sure you release it, as you are going to have to change the brake pads, and if you have that locked in, good luck. Next thing you're going to need, grab 2 pieces of lumber, or if you actually have wheel chucks, put them in. Go to your front tires. Make sure you drop it just like so. If you have steel toes on, kick them in nice and good. You want to do this to both sides. If you don't do this, when you lift your vehicle, especially if you have the rear wheel drive version, it will lift the back end, which is attached to the transmission, which means that the front will be free floating and it will try to roll away. That is something you don't want to happen. So make sure that once again you go ahead, chuck the 2 front wheels just like so, and then now you can go ahead and lift the back end. Before you do, if you watched my front end video, you already know how to do this. If not, we're going to grab 2 plastic panel poppers. We're going to squeeze one into here and the other one right beside it. We're going to use them both to leverage to pop these covers off. I'll show you that in one sec. If you have the electronic parking brake, you're going to want to make sure it's disengaged from down there. You might have to just press the start button, not turn the vehicle on, just press start and disengage the parking brake. For me, I'll just do this just so I can use it as an example. Again, that's a manual parking brake. What you do is hit start with your foot not on the brake, and we could hit it even one more time and you'll see everything turns on. From there you would hit the home button, and from there, as you can see, there's service. What we want to do is click on that. You have trip, you have service. You can click on here. For me, as you can see, I can see everything on here. I don't need to do it because I don't have that parking brake. Now, if you didn't have that, what you would do is what some people will do. I think it's hold home. As you're holding home for 2 seconds, then you click right here. A separate menu will pop up on here if you have the little blue screen. After you do that, you can scroll through those settings, and after you scroll through the settings, you want to hit the option that says automatic parking brake or brake service. Press OK on it. It'll do its thing. You'll press OK and you'll actually hear it disengaging the parking brake once again, and it'll also start flashing and saying that it's doing it. After it quits flashing and says that it's been initiated, you would simply press this, which would turn off your system, and now you can go and do your parking brake, or well, you can go do your rear brakes and your parking brake will be disengaged. Make sure after you finish your brakes, you'll hit that start button again and re-engage that parking brake, so that way the system is reset and you don't get any error lights. See how I did this? I flexed this out. Now this one's here. To both sides. Next thing you're going to do, take a 19, break all of these loose. Don't take them out. Just get at least a quarter turn in, just so that way they're loosened off. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to loosen them once the tire's in the air. What I've done is I've gone off the leaf spring perch right there, and then back here I've just gone off of right there, which is for towing. If you don't have that piece, you can of course go off of this axle down here if you have a small enough axle stand, and then just keep it up there. Again, you don't want it high up. I have maybe an inch off the ground here, and the reason why you don't is because the higher you go, the higher you have to lift the tire back on, which, depending on which van you have, are very heavy. Once you've pulled out all your lugs, just go ahead and kick. Don't let it fall on the face of your rim, especially if you have a nice new aftermarket one. As you can see, these rotors are looking brutal. I actually, the front ones look way worse, but these are still pretty bad. This right here is your little brake sensor. Make sure you pop this out, because we're going to have to make sure this is free when we take the caliper off. Now that we've made sure that this sensor is free, we can go ahead. We'll leave this cable attached for now, but as you can see, it is zap strapped right here. You want to be careful with that because we are going to take this, flip it, and put it off to the side. When we're doing everything, you do not want to break this. If you're worried, there is, you can use a 12 point right here and loosen that. And then that way, we'll probably do that just so it's out of the way. This is the bleeder for your brake. You can go ahead, put this, as you can see, just like that on the other side. Make sure we put it back in on there afterwards. I'm gonna get that socket size. I'll tell you what it is. We might as well just remove this, because if you break this, you're gonna cry. You're gonna have to pay probably like $1 million to Mercedes. For this, just a 1/4 inch socket. Go ahead, feel how not tight that is. Once again, it's just like your rotor screw. It's probably at like something like 70 inch-pounds. It's nothing. You do not want to have that super tight. Remember that when you go to put it in. You can even put this bolt off to the side so you don't lose it. Now that that's there, we can kind of leave it over here tucked in. That way we know it's safe. And what I'm actually going to do is just lightly thread this little guy back onto here. Now I can't lose it. All right, now that we've done that, we got to pull these plastic caps off. As you can see, they have little pulleys. One there, and the one on the bottom, which is a little bit different. You'll see one pulls off, and this one you kind of still pull it off. You just wiggle a little bit more. They are two different caps. On the front, this is the bottom one. This is the top. On the rear, it's the exact opposite. Good to note. I'm going to go ahead and guess these are an HW6. I'm going to grab one and pull out the 2 pins. If I were you, bring a box or something to put them in over here, even if it's the new brake pad box, to keep your pins in so that you don't get a whole bunch of gunk all over them when you pull them out, because we're going to have to re-grease them after. Little trick when pulling out the bottom one, just press down a little bit towards the ground and you'll get the pin to start coming out just like so. And if you get it out to about here, you should be able to maybe wiggle it out. If not, we'll pull up now. Yep, pull up, then pull down, and it kind of moves it against, and there it is. Let's put that in the box. Now we know that's the bottom. Now let's go ahead and pull out the bolt that's up here. Same trick gets the top out. Just do a little bit of an angle from here. This should be free. I'm not going to film this, but all you're going to do is you're going to be wiggling this, and you want to get these boots free from up here. And like I said, just wiggle. You can, of course, pull these back. Just try to keep as much dirt out of the boot as you can. But let's see. I'm going to try and wiggle a little bit and get it out. All I did, again, was literally press in, wiggle, and then you just wrap it up and around and put it right here. Make sure it's nice and solid right here. Next thing we're going to do is pop this off. But you can also, depending on how worn down your brake pads are, you can save this sensor if your brake hasn't popped up yet. If it has, then make sure you replace this sensor. Or if you want to be precautionary and it's like $3, throw it in your cart, brand new one. Now with a breaker bar, we're going to go ahead and loosen off the 221 mils on this bracket. You can take the pads out now if you want. If you're doing the driver's side, just make sure you're lifting up on the breaker bar. Don't be pushing down, otherwise you're going to strip the bolts. And again, it'll take quite a bit. Next, with a T30, go ahead and pull out the one screw on the rotor. You might have to try and hold it with your hand to try and get it out. It's going to be a little fun, but if all fails, if you have an impact, you can remove it with the impact. Just never install it with the impact. When you're popping this rotor off, smack it till it's loose. You'll notice it'll be loose, but it'll feel like it's being sprung on. That's from these parking brake shoes. Make sure your parking brake is released. Again, just like I had mentioned at the beginning, you cannot have your parking brake on. If you have an electronic parking brake, there is a procedure. I will go over that afterwards, but for right now, it's quite easy anyways. Again, I'll go over it afterwards. I don't have one. I have a manual parking brake. Now that we have this off, we can go ahead and slip the new one on. If you're not replacing your parking brake shoes, I'm not going to, because my parking brake shoes are fine. As you can see, sure, they're a little rusted, but there's still lots of meat on here. As long as you're not driving with your parking brake on, those parking brake shoes last quite a long time. If you're having issues getting the rotor off, one thing you can do is use a pry bar. You have one person, just hold that pressure. You'll notice that when you'll be able to spin the rotor on here. Like if you give it, sometimes you give it a love tap back on and you can spin the rotor and it's free from here. But you know the rotor is free. It's free from the hub, but it's being elasticated on by these parking brake shoes. Like I said, all you do, make sure it's released. On this side, have one person putting pressure, anyone you can get. Have them put pressure so that way it's holding it sort of cockeyed, and then smack it right in between these two spots with a sledgehammer and it will come off. And like I said, just have that person keep putting the pressure on while you smack away, and then afterwards you'll see an opening happen right here and work it off. I'll try and show you a little bit with the other side when I do that. This side happened pretty darn quick for me, but I bet you the other side will give me a little bit of trouble. If you're wondering what I meant by the pry bar effect, you hold that pry bar while smacking this side, and as you can see, the lip will come. Next thing, anti-seize. Anti-seize the whole inside of the rotor, so that way the next time you got to pull it off, it comes off nice and smooth. If you don't anti-seize it, you will cry later. Just like that. Let's go ahead, slide that back on over top, and we're going to go ahead and put this in. Now, some of them, as you can see, this one is now an Allen key. So if you want to, throw a tiny bit of blue Loctite. Do not use red, don't use anything else. Just use a tiny bit of blue Loctite on these threads. Take an inch-pound torque wrench and put this screw down to 70 inch-pounds. Again, once you put that little screw in right here to 70 inch-pounds, 69, 70 inch-pounds, make sure you go all the way around your dust shield, just in case for some reason you've flexed it towards your rotor, because if you have, it will make some nasty noises. You can also check back here where you would have been hitting with your hammer. If you accidentally nick that edge of the metal, make sure you've flexed it. If you have to make any adjustments on this inside edge, make sure you loosen the rotor off and take it off again to make that adjustment. You don't want to use anything metal on your new rotor and leave any pits or anything. So whatever you do, don't be swinging hammers near it. Next, with some brake cleaner, just go ahead and give these a good rub. If you have a wire brush, not the attachment for your drill, but just a wire brush that you would use for cleaning like battery terminals and whatnot, give these a quick scrub just to get as much grime off as you can. From there, put a little bit of blue Loctite on your two caliper bracket bolts, these two guys. We're gonna go ahead, put that back on. You're gonna thread both those in with the blue Loctite on there and then crank them down to 125 foot-pounds. Go ahead and open your new brake pad pieces here. And as you can see, there are these little opening pieces here. We need to make sure we're only grabbing one. And I'll show you how they sit after I can actually, there we go, that'll work. It just sits like this. So you want to make sure it sits as close to the rotor as you can without touching, and then sink down. And see, it'll sink in. And this side will grip there, that side will grip there. And after the two sides grip, you'll see this little kind of striker right here, which helps guide the pan or the slider in. So make sure you do that to all of them. One goes here, one goes there, one goes up top, one goes up top. Once you've gone ahead and done that, grab one of your first pads. As you can see, this one is going to sit like so. We're going to go ahead and just slide this into place. But first, take some brake lubricant. As you can see, I got some right here. It's orange. This one's Permatex. Yeah, Permatex. Throw it just here on the slider. Do not get any on the pads. Just on the slider portion right here. You can apply right here. I just don't like to do that because it gets too close to the rotor. Go ahead, just add it onto here and add it onto there. Just like that. Now that we've gone ahead and done that, it just kind of goes in on an angle like so, and you have to kind of work it in there and press it into your clips. They're going to try and fall down, but just try and hold them up the best you can and work them in. Once you've gone ahead, like I said, and you get those in there, you might need to love tap them with a rubber mallet. Just don't use anything too crazy. After you've gone ahead and done that, and you've got both these pads sitting in here, we'll take the caliper over here, we'll grab our tool and we'll recess that piston. Put an old brake pad against the piston, and then you just tighten this just by hand. This is just a piston caliper retraction tool, which is going to recess that piston. I always like to put an old brake pad in there, because then you don't actually put any major pressure on one portion of the piston. It should just go in nice and smooth. If for any reason you're having to crank that thing to the point of breaking this plastic handle, then you have either a seized caliper, which needs to be replaced, or the caliper is just done. If you need to know what this tool looks like outside, it looks like that. And go ahead and slide that caliper back over the two brake pads. You don't need to get really any on the threads, just get it on the shaft right there. Once you get it on there, you can, if you want, use a tiny bit of blue Loctite on the tip. You don't have to though. With these caliper bolts, you really don't want to get stripped out or anything like that. Remember, black bolt up here, the big slider goes down here. Once you've gone ahead and tightened those in, you want to put these to 25 foot-pounds. Once you've got them both to 25, we'll go ahead and put our caps back on, and then we'll go ahead and put that sensor back in for the brakes. Preload that clip back onto the sensor, bring it around here, and just slip her into place like that. It literally, you can see it from right here, just press it in. Once you've done that, we have that ready to go. Let's go ahead, bring that connector back around, and we'll just lightly tie that one in. Again, I would go like 70 inch-pounds. Again, don't go insane with it. Throw a tiny bit of Loctite on it. From there, go ahead, bring your rim over, slide it on. Let's go ahead and crank. You don't have to tighten these up too much. Just get the switch down in a star pattern as much as you can without the tire rotating. If it starts rotating, when you put it on the ground, that's fine. Put these to 125 foot-pounds on the lugs. Right here, make sure you bring that back through the opening, right through here, sink it on, all good to go. Just double check everything. Once you've done that, slide your rim on, just get them cinched down. From there, when you get on the ground in a star pattern, 125 on the lugs, and you're good to go. That is how you change your rear brakes. Hope this helped you out. Press like if it did, subscribe for more. Last but not least, after 500 kilometers or 200 miles, make sure you double check your 125 on those lugs, and also make sure you pump the brakes 5 or 6 times before even starting the vehicle to make sure that those pistons retract to where they need to be. Otherwise, I mean, you'll still have front brakes, but if you do front and rear at the same time, you might not have brakes for the first 5 pumps, because you just want to get those caliper pistons to retract back on the new pads.